Good morning. Hello. How is everyone? I did sleep very well, I have to say. I was like really startled when I got woken up. So yeah. Um James is here. Hello, good to see you. Oh, and Michael is here too. Hello, Michael. I'm already looking forward to your writing event and your birthday, which is at the same time. And Annie is here. Good morning. Hello, hello. Let me just quickly look again into the calendar. Yeah, Michael's write-a-thon, I wrote it down, is the 1st November weekend, 5th and 6th November. So mark your calendars already, please. I will also be streaming. And I'm already really looking forward. I mean, it's the beginning of NaNoWriMo as well. So yeah. And already yesterday I said I can feel the excitement coming for the month of November. And I hope that I can use this energy for myself, for my own novel. So yeah. I got this card today, the Devil. And in combination with this one from yesterday, like creating something new, birthing a new age, and yeah, also dreaming. I put the, oh God, I cannot speak today. So the most emphasis on dreaming yesterday. And I think if I also think there's a connection to the Fool's card, maybe. And thinking about this energy of creating and something new and dreaming and excitement, I feel the devil here is here to remind us of all the things that kind of steal energy, distract us, and also addictions we have. Like it doesn't have to be something like alcohol or drugs, but there are so many addictive things out there that we maybe are not that much aware that we are addicted to it, and always distracting or giving our energy to some things while we could use this energy for creating stuff, for getting excited about or creating new dreams and projects. And yeah, so maybe think about what is creeping up and stealing stuff from you, energy especially. Yeah, social media would be one thing, definitely. But I think maybe also people that take a lot of your time and you saying yes too often when you should say no to them, or what else? Maybe also you could also think of food that first tastes good, but afterwards you feel like, you know, or when you're eating too much, you also lose a lot of energy when stuff like that. Yeah. But also I want to say, because I tend to be too controlling with stuff and putting too much pressure on myself, like I'm not allowed to do this. I'm not allowed to do it. I know that's also dangerous. I think that's why I want to really say this as well, because I feel sometimes we are too strict with those things, but just be aware of those balances in your life. And because sometimes we, like I said, we lose a lot of energy with all kinds of things that we could use for better purposes. So yeah, maybe I should use the first sprint to journal a bit about this topic. Loretta, hello, good to see you. Oh yeah. I mean, and then there are the guilty pleasures. I don't know. Yeah, you really have to think about it. What I had this one definition of addiction that I found really good. But of course I cannot remember the words, but it's stuff that you cannot stop doing, although you know that they are not good for you, So, Loretta, I'm not talking to my ex. Yeah, see. So, yeah, you already know, obviously. So that's the first step, isn't it? Being aware of those things. James, I have coworkers who show up as a devil card in tarot readings. It is the card of addicts, of Young's shadow. Yeah, I think that's also a very important point. In order to, why do we get addicted to stuff? Underlying, there's a need we have, and what is this need? And what would be a good way to get this need met? We have to think about, for instance, social media, I would think, is something because we want to numb ourselves, because we are afraid maybe of something, or we are feeling guilt. So shadow work is very, very important for if you want to really tackle those things you tend to do and feel like that's actually not good for me, but still I'm doing it. That's why addictions are so hard, because it's like something triggers this and then we do it without even thinking about it. And then we wake up, I spent 2 hours on social media, for instance, or on Netflix or YouTube, just to distract myself from something I was feeling before because I was feeling bad or something like that. Yeah. Or yeah, being busy is also something that distracts you maybe from, for instance, my husband is also a person, I would say, who he works like all the time. And I often told him that he just cannot sit still, because maybe he would have to face something then if he doesn't do anything for a day, for instance. He cannot do, he always has to do some project or anything. And maybe because if he just sits still and does nothing, it feels so bad, because something might come up for him then, and then he has to do something. Yeah. And that's maybe the point where you have to go to figure out, what is it that makes me feel so, yeah, bad, that I have to do something about, and go away from that feeling. So everyone is saying hi, 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 which is good. I love good energy. Yes, exactly. James says addiction often flows in to fill voids in our life. Yeah, I'm thinking of food right now because I feel I eat a lot when I'm stressed out to calm myself. For instance, this would be a typical thing. Oh, it sounds like my therapy session. Yeah, I think we all have stuff that we use. It's just, yeah, I mean, which not necessarily is really, really bad for us, but sometimes we just need to think about it if it's still healthy. And another thing I recently heard, which is maybe also a good idea, is we can get out of it if we can replace the thing, let's say bad food, with something better, like food that also helps us calm down, but it is healthier, but it has to really, really have to feel that it's the same, gives the same relief as the bad food, what I'm thinking. So trying to find something else which also helps us, but is better, healthier or less. It's also creation or something else. Yeah. Let me start the first stream, then sprint, and maybe I can think about it a bit more. And maybe trying to find what is at the core. You are very insightful. Yeah, thank you. Which is good. I'm not having a session for a few weeks, so go on. Yeah, so I would say journal about, if you know something that you are addicted to and feel like it's not good for you, I would think about, why am I doing this, and what would be a healthier replacement, so that whenever you feel like I need to, for instance, go to social media because I'm numbing myself, I'm afraid, that would be something I do, or I'm bored, what else could you do? that is actually better for you, like reading a book, for instance, or meditation. I'm often very bad with meditation, or an ASMR playlist or something like that. So really try to, that's what I have to think about now in the first sprint. Just let me see, James. Comment, there are ultimately two centers to our lives, pleasure and meaning. If we neglect meaning, then we focus on pleasure. Pleasure isn't sustainable. Yes, yes, and yes. It becomes the attempt to flee pain. Exactly, that's what I want to say, this fleeing pain, guilt, shame, whatever darkness we have there. Maybe also really journal about those things. I think shadow work is, and October is a great month to actually do that, to sit down and go down this rabbit hole of pain. James, at this point, the cycle loops becomes a compulsion, then teacher. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And really getting aware of that is really a very important step. Oh God, we started with a heavy topic today. Hello, cool gamer. So let's relax a bit. Our warm-up sprint. Enjoy. Okie dokie. Sprint number 1 is done. How did everybody do? I looked up the podcast episode I shared with you with Dr. Gabor Mate, who is an expert on addiction, trauma, and yeah, he's just really, really great. And he's looking at the connection of trauma and disease. And he's saying actually that everyone, every being in our society is traumatized in some way. He's also always looking at childhood when he's working with people who are addicted, and or he also says that, like I said, that the disease is connected to trauma we suffered. And yeah, it's just, he's just a very interesting doctor and health expert. And yeah, he says a lot of truths. He, like I said, or like this one that I just shared, can we be human beings in the midst of civilization? Because what we call civilization demands the denial of human needs. He's just really criticizing also, of course, the way we are living, and because he says that's the cause for a lot of the struggles we are having nowadays. So yeah, if you're interested to go a bit deeper in this, I can recommend. I think he has a new book out, the myth of being normal, or something like that. The myth of normal. And I think just the title of this book brings together what we're always talking about here, that we are maybe a bit different. But what he's actually saying is that what society tells us is normal is actually, of course, not, like he said, that our human needs are not met anymore, and this is what makes us sick, addicted, traumatized, etc. And of course, what's even more important is how can we deal with that? Yeah, how can we help ourselves? Because we have to live in this society, we cannot really change this. But how can we take steps to make ourselves feel better? And yeah, and I think the core of it is to connect with our true self, to really figure out, yeah, our needs and how we can meet them. And I think that's not easy. I definitely struggle with this as well. But just taking the time to look into that is already healing, I think. Like journaling, meditation, shadow work, and stuff like that. Oh yeah, and Emmy is about to upload a video. And I took over 12 hours to upload. And I think it will be finished around after the stream. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I love this. I'm currently making some wrapping paper for a gift. I love that you are so creative, that you even for first you create the gifts yourself. You don't just go to a store and buy something, and then you also do something with the wrapping paper. And I love it. I thought you said the myth of being noble. It's funny. Like we're all terrible people, and being kind is just a myth. Yeah, sorry. That's probably my accent. The myth of normal. Yeah. But it's very funny. I think the evil one loves this one. Like this, sleep is for the weak. Yeah, that's actually exactly what Dr. Gabor Mate is talking about, what is causing our problems, stuff like that. So, Michael, I've officially only gotten 1 hour and 49 minutes of sleep in order to make this stream. Now I feel so bad that you didn't get your sleep. So I hope you are so tired now that you just go back to bed. Truer things were never said. I knew it. Morals are an illusion. Yeah, morals is also a very interesting topic. Yeah, but I don't know if you want to go there. I was lied to all my life. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let me set up the next timer. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just thinking in the back of my head about what we talked about last week about my struggles with my novel and how there are actually underlying themes I have to dive into a bit deeper, like the relationship to my mom. And I had been thinking about this over the weekend, and one core thing is that what maybe I um, felt traumatized as a kid, when, for instance, my mom was a bit more critical than I would have needed. And I know that her mom, my grandmother, also was a very strict person. And there are some things even today, because my grandma is still alive and I can see them interacting, my mom and her. And I often feel like that my grandmother isn't very kind to my mom. You know, she is definitely a T personality and is, yeah, doesn't treat my mom really warmly, you know, what my mom would probably need from her mother. And so that's why I'm coming to this. I'm just thinking that we all, even my grandmother, of course, probably didn't grow up in this really healthy, every need of her was met environment. No, she probably also suffered as a kid. And so how trauma is given down each generation, because yeah, like we are living in an environment that traumatizes us. I think trauma is always something we tend to be like, no, I'm okay, I wasn't traumatized. But Dr. Gabo Mate really says everyone is traumatized in some way. And so thinking about those cycles and coming back to my novel, because I subconsciously already put it there, because there's also a grandmother, the mother, and then the daughter, and they are dealing with each other. And in the end, they realize all together that they did things wrong or should have opened up more. I think that's a main point. This opening up and talking about those things, for instance, is very important. So writing, coming to a point, can be so revealing as well, you know, just what am I really telling here? Where does this come from? The story, for instance, how does this connect to myself? And how can I process those things and be more honest with myself, for instance? So this is very heavy stuff. Yeah, it is. But realizing this and being honest about this and open up to this can be so helpful for your writing. So it's, and helpful for you, of course, like therapy. Yeah. Um, okay, no more comments. Let me look for timer. How about the dark forest timer? Let's go into the shadows, into the dark. Let's be brave. Okay. Here we go. Oh, no, we don't go. We have to share first. Yeah. Yes. I think we tend to write about ourselves in a sense. Definitely. There has to be some connection to ourselves or about things we care for. Yeah. So someone's book can tell a lot about the author and what is important to the author. Yes. And I think that's where we connect, you know, as readers with the author, those underlying, that's when we feel like, oh yeah, and when we can connect with a story. So I think that's very important for writers to look into that. Okay, sprint number 2. Have fun. Okey-dokey. That was our walk into the forest sprint. How did everybody do? I was still thinking about the women in my family and how this is connected to my story. And yeah, I think that's a big topic I can probably write about a lot. And I was thinking maybe because I will go on a trip with my mom soon to visit my grandfather from my father's side, maybe I can talk also with my mom about it a bit more. Open that box of the Pandora. We will see. But yeah, it's scary, but still, I think it's very important to talk about family dynamics and family pain, and cycles. So to also understand yourself better, and yeah, and your story. My only goal is to finish my novel. The rest is not important. So yeah, but still. Loretta had a question or wanted to know our opinion on. I'm curious to know what you all would advise about how to handle two strongly competing story ideas. Both have been with me for several years. My interest has come and gone, but now I'm super excited to outline or prep for them both. Since I'm typically blast last, should I let myself work on both for Preptober and see which one sticks for Nano, or force myself to choose now? So only just the words you use, force or let myself. I'm more leaning towards let yourself work on both. Like forcing sounds really like not good. But I think James has a great idea. Try tossing a coin. If you're happy with what comes up, go with it. If you're unhappy with the answer, go with the other. So you, with the help of the coin, will maybe get more insights about how you really feel. Get out of your head, your bodily reaction. I was thinking about the myth of normal and wondered if my normal was to go with both, just for Preptober, or if I'm just getting in my own way. And I struggle with this as well so often. The question is, am I just tricking myself here to avoid making a decision, for instance? Or is this really good for me now to go with a feeling and just work with both, for instance, first and then see what comes out of it? So, but maybe with your problem right now, it doesn't really matter because you will automatically get to the point. Even if you just force yourself with one, you will get to a point maybe and realize, no, this is the wrong one. I don't know. And when you start with both, you also will see after some time which one feels better. But like I said, forcing always feels not good from a creative perspective. Yes, for many nanos, I've been in this position, and ultimately it means I don't do any prep work. So maybe the point is not choosing or doing just one, but the point is focusing on taking the time to do the work, not distracting yourself with should I choose or not, but really say, okay, I sit down and do something for one story or for both, and then you move forward, so that maybe this choosing question is already the distraction to get away from it because you cannot decide. I think very often it's really healthy to say, every day I have at least 15 minutes for instance, with my stream. I really try to use the 2 hours for my novel work, and then it's okay. But really give yourself the time to do the work, and that is more important than, because you will move forward no matter what. And maybe that's more important than having to decide which one. You probably know best what's the best solution for you. Emmy, I think I'm over 60% done with the paper, but I need to get ready for work. So we'll finish later. Yeah. Oh, the wrapping paper. Yeah. That's so nice. Well, what do you do with the wrapping paper? I mean, I'm just thinking of stamping. You used to do this with, with potatoes, to stamp the paper so that it looked nicer, or stickers, or painting. I want to know what exactly you are doing with the wrapping paper. Let yourself work on both and see which writes better. Yeah. Yeah. See what speaks the truth again. The human capacity for self-deceit is infinite. Infinite. Yeah. And it is. That's why I also sometimes like really get, I really don't know, is this good or not? So, but that's probably when we get in our head, then we don't know anything anymore. And the solution probably is to get back and connect with your body, and then you figure out the truth, the real truth, the honest truth. James, every prep month of mine focused on one idea, then suddenly shifted to another in the last week. I think you're not the only one struggling with this. Maybe this is also fear connected, because like with my novel right now, at some point you will have to, how do you say, to commit to something. If you want to move forward, you have to commit and say, okay, this is it. This is the project now. And that's hard. That's why I cycle everything. I work on several projects because I also struggle with this commitment. And that's why I also struggle with my beach house novel right now, because now I said, okay, this is the one I will finish now, really. That really is going to be published soon. And it's scary. That's really, really scary. And that's maybe why at the end of Preptober, or a lot of people are like, actually, this isn't the one. Because it's scary when you think of November, the whole month, putting all this energy into this one project. Is it really the best one? Will this really be good enough? And this is a fear you have to push through, I think, at some point, to commit to one project. And it doesn't mean you will never look at the other project again. You can, of course, spend, like I said, I often spend then the afternoon with something else, because it takes so much energy to look at one thing that, so maybe think about that. Yes, maybe both will let my brain dump for several days, then I'll have a better idea of what I want. That sounds really, really good. I think it's a great strategy. You will feel at some point which one has more potential right now for you. I mean, making Halloween pictures. So ghosts, pumpkins, and ghosts. Oh, that's so cool. I do color blocks with paint and draw details. Oh, maybe will you share a picture later on Instagram? Bats and spiders as well. Oh, that's so cool. The first idea would always seem to be beyond my skill as a writer. Of course it feels like that now. But I think from my experience, you will only gain more experience as a writer when you actually write it out, and then you will see where it has to get better. Like with my novel right now, I've written now the manuscript, and now I see where it still lacks and needs to be better. So I'm sorry, but you still have to write it. And it's such a great idea. I mean, for some reason, you have this cool idea. but the second idea was always better as a therapeutic tool. Also very interesting. Yeah, and I'm not one to say, like I said, I have so many ideas and projects. I probably, when I am afraid or get stuck with one project, then I can go to another, and each project, that's what I tell myself, is still moving forward, although I not commit to one from A to Z till I have published it and then the next comes. But I work on several projects. But like I said, also with the Beach House novel, I need to stay with it now to get really to the depth of it and really make it so good that I can publish it. So I hope that makes sense. So just stay open. Yeah. I don't know. I am not the best person probably to give advice. See, Emmy, Cycles Project as well. I love this, what Mark just said last week, this follow the energy and the excitement. And it always goes like that. Of course, you will be excited again with a project, and then you use this excitement, this energy, and when it fades, you can go to something else that excites you. And the good stuff you will always come back to. Then you can continue. That's how I see it, and that's how I work. And I feel good about it, actually. So, but I don't do NaNoWriMo. I think the danger of NaNoWriMo really is that if you don't commit to it this whole month and don't reach the 50,000 words goal, you will beat up yourself and struggle even more after it. So be always aware of that. It's a goal to work for 1 month on one project and get a lot of words in, and sometimes it's really good to focus on one project, but don't beat yourself up if it doesn't work for you like that, because that's creativity. We want to, it's not, you cannot plan it as well as we would like to. It's hard. James, my review of old notes also revealed that forerunners of the second idea had actually been cycling in the back of my mind. I was also wondering when Loretta posted her, said that she has 2 ideas. Maybe also you find a way how they connect. I don't know. Or yeah, sometimes you have to work on one thing, and then, like James said, it leads you to another project. And then you come back to the first one at another point. So sometimes, yeah, that's probably something you have to process and work through. I will do. Oh yeah, Instagram photograph, I'm guessing. Part of the motivation for the extended idea review that I'm doing now. Yes, what is it I'm actually trying to say? Oh yeah, that sounds really good. That's hard. Being a writer is hard, especially when it's not short stories. Really, those big projects. It's just scary, and you have to. I often have this feeling of fighting myself, and when I get to this point, I know I have to go back a step. There's something wrong about this. When you have such strong negative emotions towards a project, there's something going on a deeper level. That's my experience. Doesn't mean you have to avoid it, but you have to ask yourself, what is it that I'm resisting here? What am I truly resisting? And then maybe you can work this out. So I try to find a timer. Let's breathe a bit and look at some summer rain. I think this is always very healthy and healing. Take a breath. Enjoy 40 minutes of writing time. Oh, I talked a lot today. I'm sorry. Okie dokie. Sprint number 3 is over. How did everybody do? I wrote down some questions I want to ask my mom. So some topics I want to deep dive into with her about herself, her mom, my grandma, and my great grandma. And yeah, especially what would interest me is how they dealt with emotions. You know, I think especially past generations didn't really deal with emotions, or when they were feeling bad, for instance, this wasn't something that was spoken about. So that's why I think that's a very interesting direction to go. Yeah, and to explore how did people deal with emotions in my family, or emotional trauma and stuff like that. If you hear noise in the background, our neighbors get a new kitchen, so I think they're drilling holes right now into the walls. I don't know. I found very interesting what Loretta shared. James, you just made me realize that the one idea that is young adult, the other is middle grade, had really grown in my mind to be about adult characters. Writing an adult female character seems scary to me. This particular character is an adult anyway. Oh, that's interesting. Maybe I keep veering back to the middle grade because it feels more like an activity I would do for my students with less personal connections. Yeah, I think James was right when he said, look for the more scarier one. And that's probably the one you all feel more connected personally to. And that's why it's scary. And there might be some hurt and pain and stuff you will have to dive into in order to write it, to write the truth. Maybe facing the adult consequences of what a child experiences cuts a little close to the bone. Yes, I think I'm afraid I can't make her adult enough to take care of herself. Thank you, Dr. Freud. Yeah, but I think it's so helpful to understand this about us when we write, that there is this personal connection, and that when we feel resistance, that's probably because it's about going deeper about ourselves. So just understanding this is of course helpful, so we can look at it from another more passionate, not passionate, compassionate viewpoint, you know, like, okay, this is something that takes time, but it's good to explore it. And I only can say that exploring those things is so good, and you feel so good when you kind of understand this stuff, and it makes the story so much easier or more exciting to write then in the end. But it's a lot of work, and maybe also time to dig up all this stuff. I like writing middle grade. Interesting observations, Loretta. I think you have to really think about audience and characters' age, and if it doesn't fit, maybe it's not the right project yet. Yeah, it's interesting. All my story ideas evolve around adults. I don't have any ideas for kids' stories or anything, or teenagers, young adults stuff. But still, I write a lot about their growing up, you know. Usually they experience stuff. So I always write a lot of backstory as well. So I think my audience are adult people in the end. I'm probably writing this always for myself. Yeah, I'm often thinking about this. Who are my readers? Because I have the feeling that I write my novels firstly for myself, because I'm working through therapeutic stuff, so that I don't really think about the readers in the end. But I'm guessing my readers are adults who that's why I have so many different genres I have ideas for, but probably they are all connected in the sense that they deal with some personal stuff I'm experiencing, I'm feeling, I have to work through. So yeah. Loretta took lunch from work and did some food prep for. Oh, that's nice. I was putting it off, so this sprint really helped. Yeah, that's good that it was 40 minutes. Food prep. Yeah, I'm bad at this. I usually decide towards the end of my stream if I need something to buy, groceries for lunch and dinner. So yeah, meal prep is not something I do. Your research sounds so deep, love it. Thank you for the stream. My upload almost. Oh yeah, I will look at your channel later. I'm trying to learn how to write for all the voices in my head. Yeah. But actually, I mean, a novel or a story has so many layers and characters. So I talked a lot today. So if you want to do a final sprint, I want to do a final sprint. So because I have to set up my grocery list. No, I already did during the last sprint. Decide on what I will cook today. So how about, yeah, let's just use this timer. It's a 10-minute ASMR rain stick timer. It's actually very good with the sound. If you like the rains, I love rain stick sounds. I don't know if you know what rain sticks are, but I love the sound. It's very calming. Oh, James wants 20 minutes, so I have to use another timer. You can do 20 minutes, no problem. I have enough time for that. Let's use this one then. The rain stick timer though is 10 minutes, and if you really need a little break, I can only recommend listening to it for 10 minutes. I think this is very calming. Okay, 20 minutes dream at a lake timer. Going through all the emotions. 20 minutes, exciting, only 10. Ah, okay, here we go. 20 minutes. Enjoy. Okie dokie, that's the end of my stream. And I just want to show you again the devil card. What are the things we do to avoid what we are secretly afraid of? Looking at you, James, right now. Maybe you can also just, for instance, during my stream, try to do the outlining stuff. And if you then still feel, oh, I want to do research, you know, like as a, what's it called? As a reward, you know, for when you did the work and as a preparation maybe for the next day or whatever. So to avoid always going down a rabbit hole and not doing the work you want to do. The seed of the outline plagiarized plot points from stupid sitcoms. Love that. My challenge: avoid copyright infringement and transform it into real insight into character. I have a lot of story ideas from that are rooted in stuff I've watched, and there are a lot of fan fictions out there. I know that people, but I'm pretty sure you can work around this. Especially maybe just start with it and don't really think about plagiarization or something. Work with it, because then it will become its own thing, you know. When you work with this stuff, it will change anyways. James, get that consume animal under control, sir. Then come fix mine. Yeah. You can always, yeah, this group is helping each other out. So, hey, Alpha, just stopping by to say hi and happy writing, everyone. Thank you so much. I will be back tomorrow. And yeah, hopefully we can continue to encourage each other. And yeah, it was fun, although we talked about deep stuff and I talked way too much looking at the time, but I need it. That's my kind of therapy to talk about everything with you. Okay, thank you so much. See you tomorrow. Bye bye. And go to sleep, Michael.